All right, everybody, week 8 of distance learning. All right, that's just a little ad to make sure that you know to show up to office hours every day from 10 to 12 if you have any questions or just to say hi. This is week 8, it starts on Tuesday. The whole focus this week is social movements. Just a little precursor to this is that the project is Friday, but it'll be open all week. So again, if you want to get a kind of background of what this is all going to be about, I'm going to go through it right now. Most of these formatives, if you check in, they're going to help you kind of figure out what you're going to do your summative assessment on. So we're going to start with Tuesday. This is just kind of a preview to look at a couple different of the social movements, and there are some notes here to kind of take you through one. You just have to look at a couple of the videos and then explain them. We have the Latin American and Native American of social movements that occur in the 1970s, the growth of the environmental movement, what is called the second wave of feminism or the feminist movement, and then there's the counterculture movement. And all of these basically are major effects of what happens as a result of the civil rights movement, with a lot of the laws that change towards civil rights groups, particularly for African American communities, that starts to spread out amongst the American identity into individuals from women, different groups of minority groups, disabled people, and then also people who just have a general feeling of wanting to change things in society. So then after you do that, there's just some basic vocab I want you to look at, and there's a Quizlet that goes with this. For this assignment, you can go through the text if you like, otherwise just go right to the Quizlet and just look up these terms. You can define them, you can do the activities and upload that as far as kind of the tests or quizzes that are on here. I really just want you to get an understanding of what these are, because this will kind of guide you towards what you may want to do your research on for the summative. All right, there's a little quiz to take, and again, all the terms and information are this first assignment on Tuesday, and then the Thursday assignment is just kind of an extension. It's kind of a cool little assignment where you would choose one of those movements and make a poster. So like, for example, here's one from the environmental movement that came from online, and then there's some others from like the La Raza movement, Native American movement, another environmental movement one. And I used to always do this as a good assignment, and I'd collect them and create my own posters. So hopefully, and then I'll put them up, and it would be great if you guys could do these. I'll collect and make the poster and put it up next year. I always put the newest poster on my door. So if I could get that, you'd be able to see it in the fall. Otherwise, here is the summative. So this is going to take a little while. This is going to look a little bit different. Again, it'll be open all week. You'll get kind of a look like this that'll take you through the steps of what you need to do, but it'll actually come up in a Google assignment. And so when you open it up, this document will actually show up. And so it's like a hyperdoc, which those of you who've been in the class all year, you've seen some of these before. And I've divided this up to very simply say, here's what you do to get a 2, a 3, a 4. So to get a 2, there's just basic elements, all right? And these are things that we started to look at throughout the year. The first thing is just to pick one of these and write it over here, all right? And then go into the process of looking at a research question with sub-questions, all right? There are resources that you can use that are linked right here. You click on this and it opens, and then you'll have a bunch of different links that you can search of a specific movement, all right? Once you write a research question with hopefully a couple sub-questions, you can then go into the part of taking notes. So you'll use this to explain the background or the historical background, which you can do by either writing a summary, a paraphrase, or a quote. And if you don't remember what each of those is, go back and look at this presentation, all right? And you don't have to do all 3, you just have to do one of the 3 for at least 1 or 2 of these examples. So you don't have to fill out this entire thing, all right? And these are just examples of parts of a movement you can look at. I just want to have at least one of these little bullet points done. So I need to see an example of a summary, or an example of a paraphrase, or an example of a quote. That's it. All right. You don't have to do historical background and opposition and methods and 2 or more individuals. All right. And then the last part for a 2 is that for at least 2 sources, you need to do the OPVL. So, I mean, I would suggest that you at least get 2 bullet points, 1 from one source, 1 from another source. And then you do the OPVL for those sources. All right. So that's what you need to get a 2. To get a 3, you need to do all of that yellow part, and then you need to go through and complete basically a presentation of it. The presentation document that you use is this Show What You Know Bingo, where many of you have seen this before. It gives you a bunch of different choices of the way that you can do a presentation. And so one thing that's a little bit different is that this time you're going to create a presentation, pick whichever you choose. When you submit it, you are going to go and click on this button. All right. And this basically creates a form that you fill out with your presentation. And then I will take those presentations and then I will put them at this site. So you don't really have to do anything for a 3 except make the presentation and then submit it in that Google form. That's it. So if I see that you did all the 2-part and then you made a presentation and submitted it here, I will then put it on this site, which is called the Blended Pirate, which it'll bring up something for you to link in, but this is what will open up. And what you'll see is all of the presentations from last year, and that'll be important for you to get a 4, because if you want to get a 4, you have to be able to have completed your presentation. And then you will need to go to this bottom part and basically reflect on the movements. All right. So one of the things about this is that you could get a 4 or try to get a 4 by looking at other people's presentations. But in order to get a 4, you must also do your own presentation. All right. So it's kind of up to you as to how you want to kind of attack this. The biggest part is just getting all this done for the 2. Which is a majority of the work, really, of just taking the notes. But then I want to see that you can make a presentation, share it, and then reflect on others that were out there. Okay, so that's week 8. Please make sure that you check in next week for finals week, because there's going to be a little different presentation as to how we're going to go about finals that last week, and talk a little bit about retakes and making up scores. All right, again, any day 10 to 12, you can check in for my office hours and we can discuss. Otherwise, hope you all had a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll wrap up the school year after the next couple weeks. Have a good day and a good week.